Blizzard has just banned 74,000 bots from WillE? What is this?
Ladies and gentlemen, WillE here. On the 18th of June, Blizzard has temporarily suspended or banned 74,000 accounts across America's, Oceania and European regions. The majority of that number were for cheating, using unauthorized software to gain advantages in-game, or as we like to simply call it, botting. I know I'm a bit late to the party here. I was going to make a video the day it happened because I was so excited, but wanted to put out my last video about the recent blue post before this. Also, it made sense to wait a few days so I can see what effects the ban wave actually has on the market and bots in instances.
I just want to say, finally, freaking finally. I don't know why Blizzard was waiting so long for this to actually happen. Like, the bots, first of all, so they are basically just taking the resources because they are taking black lotuses, they are using herbalism, they are taking the mining ores, thorium ores, and then it's going to be less resources for the people that are actually playing the game. And imagine, for example, that you are a player and you are playing hours and hours of World of Warcraft, and you're basically farming your gold, and then basically everything that you just did doesn't have any value because someone else who just made a script is gonna be getting even more money because his bot can be running and restarting the instances all the time. So I think finally, but also I'm asking, why so late?
Other than that, I'd just like to start this off by saying this because I would really like to be able to do this kind of thing more often. Amazing, fantastic, brilliant, super, good job, Blizzard. Well done, not only in the bans, but the choice to communicate with us that you've done so. Let's give it a quick read through the post now, and I'll just talk about the important bits here. We rarely communicate publicly about this because we found that describing our sources and methods can make it easier for malicious actors to work around them, but we feel that it's worthwhile to expand on the subject today as many players have recently asked us for a bit more detail. I agree on this. I don't think anyone's expecting anything too granular when it comes to what kind of actions you are hiding. All the same though, there's no harm in making a ban wave a big public deal. We have to prove to ourselves that the accused player is not a person who's actually controlling a character with their hands on the keyboard. I can see this being hard too, since there will be many people across various regions who, despite are playing the game as a job to sell gold, it's technically still a person, or that the person running the bot farm keeps a close tab on the operation to try and avoid possible suspicion. We've also seen examples where the reported player was caught exploiting the game and was removed from the game and then quickly returned to doing the same thing on a new account with the same character name. This is quite interesting actually. I don't think this has ever been brought up by the community. To be honest though, the bot names appear, for the majority at least, just to be randomly generated names. I don't see how the same name would be chosen consistently, but I can see where this is coming from. Real money trading drives third parties to put an enormous amount of effort into circumventing our detection systems. As much as this is a very high priority for us, it is the only priority for profit-driven botting organizations. The bans that we issue are simply a cost of doing business for them. I mean, sure, it's their only motive, but Blizzard is one of the largest game developers in the world. I've said it before.
Let's say, for example, what Epic Games is doing when they are having a cheater or someone who is basically using some malicious software. There was a Fortnite streamer named Jarvis, and what he basically did is that he got his hands on a cheating software. And I don't know if it was aimbot or wallhack or something like that, but what actually happened is that he just tried it and he made one video about it. And what Fortnite did, and he was a professional streamer who was like also attending competitions and stuff like that. And what actually Epic Games, the developer of Fortnite, did is that he just like banned him from all the occasions. Like they said, you cannot be attending any more tournaments. Like, we are sorry, but you are actually using the software that is malicious and we are not supporting this. And he just got like banned like this. And I think it's a really good example. But I think in the case of World of Warcraft, it's a little bit complicated because we are not right now having just some little kid that is basically just cheating. What we are having is actually the mass. The masses from China. The masses from China who are coming and they are invading our territories, taking our wives and slaughtering our kids. And this is not lit, fellas. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. But what they are doing in a nutshell is that they're just coming in here. They are basically farming all these resources, and afterwards they are selling it on a black market. You know, it's right over there. You got the coca, you got the our illegal substances, and then you have Black Lotus and gold, and then you have also thorium ore. It is what it is, fellas.
Or I'm pretty sure you could buy them out to work for you if you really wanted to. All in all though, let's not make little of this and just move on to the next issue. Credit where credit is due. Many people ask for this kind of thing to happen, especially me, and Blizzard has made it happen and communicated about it. Right, you don't ask for a car on your birthday and then moan when it's not as expensive as you wanted. It's a result that was pushed for. Here are the results. Once again, good job Blizzard on this step, and what have you done here? So following all of that uncharacteristic praise from me, how effective does the ban wave appear to have been? First of all, the term ban wave, I'd like to talk about it in a bit more detail as it's thrown around all the time, but I don't feel like there's ever been a why is it done this way and what does it hope to achieve, because ban waves are the bot busting meta for a very good set of reasons. Say you are a naughty botter who's developing a naughty script to do naughty things in-game. You fire up your first iteration of your bot, get it in-game on 5 different accounts. By the end of the day, 2 of those accounts are banned, so you take down the other 3 as well. You can now look through your personal logs and work out at what point they were banned and identify what trigger caused the ban to happen. You implement what you believe to be the fix, and on top of this you still have 3 other accounts left that you were testing who had not been effective, then put them back in game the next day, repeat and repeat until they're not being detected.
Blizzard just find these hackers and just pay them, like, because they are doing the job that you cannot actually do. And I'm pretty sure that you, as a multi-billion dollar company, is able to pay them more than these Chinese investors and these all other people who are owning these black websites. So I think just communicate with the hackers, try to get a hold of them. It's the same thing, for example, like people were doing the Nostarius server, and I think that the people who are, I don't know if actually some of the people who are running Nostarius actually started running also Classic. I think actually they might contacted them. I don't remember. I think I heard something, but I'm not sure. Nostarius was a giant vanilla server. But in a nutshell, this is not gonna be enough. Of course, it's a nice gesture that you are going to be fighting the corruption, the corrupt politicians and stuff like that. But you still need to be fighting. You need to keep on going. This is not enough, but it's a really nice gesture, and just keep on going, keep on doing what you're doing.
You have a system here where the in-game detection is sort of working in your favor as it instantly exposes weaknesses in your scripting. Not only does this let you make a better bot, but it gives you info on how Blizzard goes about fighting the bots. If bans are done in waves every so often, thousands of accounts suddenly are all taken down at the same time. Accounts that are all of different ages, performing different actions, and all at different times of the day. It makes it very difficult to say exactly why they were banned, ergo making it much harder to know how to improve your bot. However, when a ban wave happens, it's vital at this point that Blizzard's anti-cheat and detection systems are also updated to combat trends in accounts that they have taken down, or people are just going to run it back with the same type of software again and again. Furthermore, it's important that ban waves reflect the real world profitability of the game in question. This one is different from game to game, depending on how valuable the in-game resources are. And Classic is a bit strange in this regard, because unlike retail, you don't need the base game or the expansion to play it at all, so you need to invest far less into getting your bot network set up. This combined with gold being far more important on Classic than retail, and you have a combo where it's always in high demand. How often ban waves come also need to take this into account, because
that's the whole reason why so many gold farmers are coming actually to Classic, because the gold is just so valuable. It has the value, and people, imagine that you are, for example, riding your 60% mount and you are just so pissed, you just need that 100 gold, or what is the price, I don't remember right now, but you just need that gold, and you're busy, you just don't have time to farm the gold. So I understand why these Chinese farmers are actually having the real customers who are paying for the gold, but at the same time it's hurting the game, it's hurting the people who are actually spending the time into the game, who are investing themselves. Imagine, for example, there is one YouTuber who is called Frostadamus. He's also a streamer, and he was farming ZG, and he's doing a lot of videos about like gold farms. If you're interested in that type of stuff, like how to get money easily as a warrior or a rogue or a mage, then go check Frostadamus. And he was basically saying that everything, he made a lot of investments. Like he farmed a lot of stuff, he bought a lot of stuff from the auction house, and he was predicting how the prices are going up because of the AQ release, because of the next release, like what is going to be the situation in a couple of days. So he had a lot of predictions, but as far as I know, he said that a lot of his predictions were wrong, and the reason for that was that basically the bots are running the market. They are setting the prices. There's just so many Black Lotuses that are missing, so it is what it is. Blizzard actually also added a couple of Lotus spawn points, and I think, why did you wait for so long? I don't understand this voice. Is that in vanilla we had servers that were like 2,000 people or 3,000 people maximum, like pretty decent server, but not so much people, to be honest. And nowadays what we have mega servers. We have mega servers. For example, these Fairlina servers, Gehenna's EU, and all these other servers where big streamers are playing. I just don't understand that you cannot be having the same amount of resources for 4 times as many people, and I just don't know why it's so complicated to understand. I think that that's why actually the layering was introduced, and I think that the layering was a good step in my opinion. I understand why some people are kind of pissed at layering, but I think that the layering was actually a good strategy, and I think at the end they are actually going to be adding the layering back, in my opinion.
I have a pretty strong feeling that the setup costs per bot are far lower than the amount they generate over time at the moment. As for what the correct frequency of the ban waves is for Classic, it's hard to say, but I think it's safe to say they're making a whole lot more than they're losing, that's for sure. Let's have a look now at what we can see in dungeons. It used to be all day, every day there were groups running strat. Here I'm checking a few servers to see what I can find a few days in a row since the changes were made. Keep in mind some of these servers are locked, so unless some accounts slip through the net, nothing new can be currently created there. We can certainly see a few accounts here which are a bit on the suspect side. I mean, it's kind of funny if you see a druid priest and 3 mages in strat and guild in DAO that everybody just assumes that they're botters, and 9.99 times out of 10 I'd be willing to bet that they actually are. How long until botters start making token guilds to throw people off, I wonder? Yeah, it probably wouldn't make any difference. So there are still bots.
I actually didn't even know they locked already some servers, but I think it was necessary because if the population of the server is so giant, so many people are coming in, the server just cannot sustain so many people. So I think that the lock of the servers was necessary, so more people are not going to be creating more characters.
There for sure, but it's certainly less than it was in the past. That's pretty much what we can expect, and that's a good thing. I'd just like to say, as far as I'm aware, however, the run bots do in strat is about 1 hour and they half afterwards, so the new instant cap isn't really going to affect them, but we'll see what happens there. So if bans have indeed been coming in waves, and we know about a pretty huge one recently, the auction house should reflect this in the volumes of items that are being posted, having periods of dropping off and then gradually rising back up. This info is from the website Nexus Hub, and the data is gained from the TSM add-on that uses the auction house. So whilst it won't show us everything, it gives us a pretty good picture. Let's have a look at some of the more popularly botted items. Golden Pearls, not too much change overall here in the long term. I can tell you they went up considerably on my server, but are now going back down again. More interestingly, the quantity supplied doesn't really seem to have overly had a large change over time. Righteous Orbs, these are what them bots are farming in strat all day every day. Well, this looks a bit more like what I expected to see. A sudden massive drop off in supply and the price spiking up. Once again, this 90-day view doesn't reflect there having been frequent ban waves at all. This really seems like the first big one they have done looking at this. The supply has just been non-stop rising daily looking at the trends now until recently. Major mana potions, these are from the tribute chest at the end of Dire Maul. Just like Orbs, this is what I expected to see, a sudden and huge drop off. Interestingly, in the NA region there seems to have been a separate ban wave done earlier on. However, you can clearly see how fast botters were able to recover from this, even getting towards the volumes they were at mere weeks beforehand. Hopefully this doesn't repeat itself. Major healing potions, same story as mana really. These are also from tribute runs. Looks like a pretty good time to get back to farming tribute as a hunter perhaps. So we can definitely see some evidence that the bot numbers have been pretty heavily cut back. What we'll have to see in the coming weeks is exactly how well they can recover. That is, if the reduced numbers on the auction house and inside various dungeons are anything to go by. Locked servers are going to go a long way to stop the repopulation happening anytime soon, as those are the servers with the highest demand for items and gold, since they have the largest player bases. For the unlocked servers though, I'd expect to get hit pretty hard by the next wave of bots. Also, looking at the items in Nexus Hub for example, especially major mana potions or righteous orbs, this looks like the first time in many cases where the supply has actually gone down. There should have been several drop-offs where accounts were banned, who then reformed and went again, but this is the first real...
In my opinion, the economy already suffered enough, and I think that not everything is lost, and I think there is still hope, but there needs to be action, there needs to be some sort of anti-cheat. Blizzard just needs to be more active. I understand that they just have this game and they just use it as cash cow because they didn't really have to spend so much resources on it because it was already a made game, but it's just, you need to be spending a little bit more when it's bringing you so much money back.
Considerable drop-off we can see in the past 90 days. This is what should be expected given the nature of ban waves, but it's not what we're seeing, at least from the data that we have available to us. We know that this ban wave was about 1 month of account as per Blizzard's wording, so if that's anything to go by, then that's a pretty huge number of accounts, but is it frequent enough of an action to bring long-term success and ending how rampant botting has become? It doesn't appear that way so far. Also, you'll have to let me know if you've seen any of this, but I'm hoping Blizzard have at least updated their anti-cheat to stop flying and no clipping with this ban wave. I mean, there is detection for automation in game, and then there's a player moving at speeds or being at coordinates in game where they should not be able to reach. They aren't quite the same thing. This is an area where I'd like to see more strong action. In any...
Bro, there is this video where this motherfucker is flying. Let me just find this. Zulgroup, fly hack. When I saw this, I think even Asmongold like reacted to it. Hold on, I think here it is.
Oh, hey,
so check
dude,
over here. Check
why?
over here,
I've
dude.
never seen this type of wall jump before. What the fuck? Wait.
It is what it is, you know. When somebody is using a wall hack, fly hack, like at least stop that one. At least that one, because this is ridiculous at this point.
In any event, this is a good step in what Blizzard has done here, both with the bans and their recent communications on it. I have to say I'm happy that this has been done and that we'll have to see how botters recover and how fast. Looking forwards to more future communications from Blizzard as for ban waves and the fact they're actually acknowledging it now and staying on top of it. So please let me know what you're seeing in game at the moment in terms of possible botting on locked and non-locked servers, and whether you still think the flying and no clipping is possible, perhaps along with any other cheats that are frequently employed as well that we just don't see so often. I think we've managed to push for this action to happen. Let's take this as a good thing, but keep an open mind for what comes next. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one very soon.
Leaving a like, subscribing. Please, everybody, just support WillE. He's a really talented content creator. You can find the video in the description below. A very good video. Thank you, WillE, for this one. Fellas, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Write me in the comments the name of the video, what I'm supposed to be checking in the next one. What video am I supposed to check out? What video am I supposed to be reacting to? Please just leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.